Come on, there we go. There we go. Yep, that fits good. All right, let me get this out of the way here. There we go. Welcome back to another video. In this video, starting off 2025, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. So this is another PC build that I'm intending on flipping, but instead of the typical thing where I just go through the parts, put it together, nobody watches it, we're going to do something a little bit different because this is a different form factor of build than what I'm used to doing. So this is going to be a mini RTX build. And I figured since this is going to be a completely new experience to me because I've never built in a case like this before, which you'll see in a second, I figured I'd go ahead and record myself trying to do this to see how well it goes. So typically when I flip PCs, I don't ever intend on doing RTX builds, mainly because they just really aren't that appealing to most people. And the people who want a super small and compact system usually look into building it themselves because, you know, they want to choose a very specific RTX case or anything like that. But I figured, why don't we try it again? Because my last one didn't go so well. I had to recase it, I think, once or twice before it finally sold. But the main heart of this system right here is in this box. So this is a Gigabyte X570i Aorus Pro Wi-Fi motherboard. Now, I got this a couple months ago for like stupid cheap. And the CPU that's in this board is a Ryzen 7 5700X. I bought this off eBay a few months ago for, I believe, 145 bucks. Not a crazy deal or anything, but the motherboard was a crazy deal. So I got this for 40 bucks from someone in a Discord server about a year ago, I want to say. And the reason was because they were having stability issues with it. So sometimes it would post and it would go into Windows. Sometimes it would post and then freeze in the BIOS. Sometimes it just wouldn't even post at all. What I ended up doing was just updating the BIOS, and that seemed to fix the issue with the board. So now I have a $40 RTX motherboard that this is probably worth like, what, 200 bucks maybe? You can see it's got pretty good I/O too. So the CPU wasn't a crazy deal, but the motherboard was a pretty crazy deal. And this board has just been sitting. I used to use it as a test bench pretty often, but now I've recently swapped out the motherboard that I use for my test bench, so now we can put this into a build. To cool that 5700X, we have this Corsair H100i Elite Capellix, I think. No, I got it wrong. It says it right there. This is a refurbished Corsair H100X RGB Elite that I got off of Corsair's refurbished website around, I want to say, Black Friday for 43 bucks. It's a pretty nice AO. I actually haven't looked in here yet, so as you can see, it's still sealed. But I'm assuming it's nice, and I'm assuming it's all there because this it's going to be kind of awkward if it's not. But I figured since we're going to be using a Corsair Mini RTX case for this build, and you might already know what case that is, figured having a Corsair AIO would go nicely with it. Next is the RAM, and I'm going to be using this 32 gig kit of Gigastone RAM. Sounds like a ripoff of Gigabyte, but these sticks are actually pretty nice, and I got these a while ago, I want to say, for like 55 bucks. I have a few of these kits, but for the storage, we got a TikTok shop special right here. This is the I'm having a stroke. Loca? Whatever, it's the EN760 2TB SSD that I got off of TikTok Shop for, I believe, let me see, I think it was around 70 bucks. Yeah, I got it for 78 bucks off of TikTok Shop, and I bought a couple of the 1TB version for 40 bucks as well, but I only bought one of these in 2TB since I don't do too many high-end builds very often, but 2TB is plenty of storage. Now, the power supply that we're going to be using is a little bit interesting. So the story with this is I originally bought a Montech Century Mini 750 watt for around, I think after taxes it was like 108 bucks. That power supply never ended up shipping. Thank you, Newegg. So I canceled that, and well, now we have this mysterious white box. And inside this mysterious white box, if I can, oh, I was opening it the wrong way. Oops. That explains why it doesn't open. What is this? Warranty. Inside this right here, that was kind of violent, is a Channelwell 750 watt SFX power supply, which, fun fact, this is actually the OEM version of a Montech Century Mini, the exact same one that I was going to get, and it was the same price on Amazon. Just doesn't have the Montech branding, but literally Montech just slaps their labels on this and calls it their own. But the reason why I went with this power supply is, it was the same price too, by the way, $108, but I needed 3 PCIe cables for the GPU that we're going to be using in this build, and there's not very many XFX PSUs out there that have 3 8-pin connectors, and there really weren't any used options. Like a used power supply pretty much costed the same as getting a brand new one, so might as well get the brand new one. We got all of our nice cables in there. Speaking of said GPU, here it is. This is an MSI RTX 3080 Gaming X. I think it's a Gaming X. Is it a Gaming X? I also just dropped it. Yes. So this GPU I also scored during Black Friday, like most of these parts, for $225 off of a site called Jawa. They seem to sell like computer parts and pre-builds and stuff like that, but they were running a Black Friday sale on a few of these, and I managed to pick up one. This GPU, by the way, was nasty when I got it. You could probably see some clips of it here. There's dust flying around in my room as I took this out. Yeah, that's a nice surprise. I'm so glad that I decided to do this now. Ew. But this card was absolutely disgusting. It took a few hours of cleaning, but as you can see now, this card almost looks brand new. I'm actually quite proud of myself. Look at that. Like before all of this and all in the fans was all clogged up with dust. This was all like caked in dirt as well. But now look at it. Now it's actually very clean. I also didn't check if that GPU is going to fit in this case, but it should, because for an RTX case, this thing is kind of large. Well, not really, but it's upside down. But if you can read upside down, you'll know that this says 2000D airflow. So I got this case. This was on sale for 60 bucks on Newegg, and I actually got the RGB version, which comes with 3 Corsair fans, which would match the Corsair fans on the AIO that I'm going to be using. However, I have a different plan. Instead of using the Corsair fans included on the AIO and the ones that are included in this case, I think I'm going to swap out the 3 fans for these. Did you just see that? That was pretty clutch. Let me swap it out with these 3 Thermalright RGB fans. These are like Unifan clones, and I think that this design peeking through the front mesh will look pretty sweet. So hopefully I'm right, and hopefully that this wasn't just a waste of money. I think all 3 of these fans were like 20 bucks, so 20 bucks ain't too bad. But yeah, I've never built in an ITX case like this. I've built in like the NZXT H210, or I think there was some metallic gear case that I built in that was ITX, but I never built in a case where it actually like, there's like a tower pretty much, like not the, I haven't built in the Height Revolt, the NZXT H1, or this. So this is going to be my first time trying to build in a case like this. I figured I'd record it to see, well, just how it goes. So I guess we should start the build now. Alright, so here's the case. Like I said, I've never actually built in a case like this before. You can see the 3 Corsair fans. So I'm thinking we take these 3 Thermalright fans and we put them right where these Corsair fans are. And I think the design on them is going to look pretty sweet. But I've never built in this. I don't know how to build in this. I've never seen anyone build in it before. So this is going to be interesting. Alright, I took the side panels off just to see what we're working with. I think I'm cooked. This is definitely going to challenge my PC building skills, especially I'm going to try my best to not look at the manual to build this. So I think the power supply goes here. I think this is where the motherboard goes. The I/O comes out. I don't know. I ain't even gonna lie. I might have to look at the manual already. Oh no, I'm not prepared for this. And how am I even gonna get these fans out? I think, hopefully, does this panel come off? Oh, okay, I see. This panel just comes off like that. I can either put the AIO here up front as well, which is probably what I'll do. Since I'm gonna be reusing the fans, or since I'm gonna be taking off the stock fans and putting on those Thermalright ones, I think I'm going to mount the AIO up front here, hopefully. And if that doesn't work out, then I'll probably just put some black fans in the AIO, because I don't want to have 2 different style RGB fans in here. Alright, I skipped over the boring part of installing the SSD and the cooler, but if you're curious of what type of condition a refurbished Corsair AIO is, well, you get all the accessories except for the manual. Mine did not come with a manual, and I'm not sure if they're supposed to, but pre-applied thermal paste, which is nice, and you pretty much get everything with it. And here's the condition of the radiator itself. It's very clean, and there's no damaged fins or anything like that that I can see. Honestly, it looks like a brand new AIO, and it's still got the plastic peels on it. All right, so you know how I said that I wasn't going to try to look at the manual for this? Well, I lied, and I looked at the manual. So the motherboard does go, where does it go? Goes right in there. Goes right there like I thought, and then the I/O points out down here, so I guess you can somehow reach up and in. Maybe you can take out this bottom piece to get the I/O. But before we put the motherboard in, I'm gonna go ahead and swap out these 3 fans. I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so I did some test fits just to see if I'd be able to put the AIO in the front where the 3 cool fans are gonna be. I don't think it's gonna happen, and let me show you why. So I took out the radiator bracket that was right here, and I guess that's where you're technically supposed to mount it, so that's probably what I'll end up doing. But if I stick this in here, how it's supposed to be, something like that, if I go up like this, thankfully these tubes are very flexible. I originally tried this way, but then it's going to hit the power supply cage, and then I think it's the power supply cage, and then if I try to go this way, the tubes, or actually the radiator is going to hit the I/O shield that's right down here. It's hard for you to see. Let me get close up of that. So I'm gonna look in the manual to see if there's any ways I can mount this up front, because even without any fans installed, it is still not having enough clearance. So I'm gonna see if there's any way I can mount the rad up here, and if not, then I will mount it to the bracket that goes along here, so then it'll be like this. And then I'll just put 2 black fans, or maybe I'll even put the stock Corsair fans back on this, and then just have it exhaust out. All right, I got the new fans installed up here, as you can see, and I have the 2 Corsair fans put back on this, but instead of using the standard fans that it came with, I'm actually using the 2 slim fans that were in the front of the case. So I'm not sure if that'll really make a difference or not, but I figured I might as well use 2 of the fans that came with this case. So now, God, this is going to be terrible to cable manage, but let's see if it'll go in here. Do a good old little test fit. It is so hard to do this with all the fan wires. There we go. Wasn't super graceful, but it's in. And then the AIO should, in theory, maybe go like this, or maybe this way? I don't know. We'll figure it out, but let's get the motherboard screwed in, and then I'm going to try and manage these wires a little bit, because even without the PSU, it's already getting a little messy in here. Alright, so I started wiring up all of the front panel connectors, and I tried to do a little bit of cable management like that. I mean, I think I did okay. The fans were a pain, though, I ain't even gonna lie, but I think the 24 pin will hide all these fans, hopefully. We'll see. But now, I'm gonna try and see how it goes mounting this. So, what I ended up doing is I am still able to bypass using IQ, and the way I'm gonna be able to do that is the cooler came with a splitter to adapt the proprietary connectors to an RGB header, and it's a 4-way to single RGB adapter. So by using that adapter, I can plug these fans into the adapter, and then it's all adapted here into one header. So hopefully I don't overload this header. I'm not sure what's the limit that you can do for RGB, but I'm going to try that. And then the fans I'll still have to connect to the fan hub back here, because I've run out of fan headers on this board. So I'm wondering which way I want to do this. Like this, maybe? No, maybe like that. It's not terrible, but you can't really see it too well. But the tubes are super scrunched up. I'm not sure how to do this exactly. That's obviously not going to work. I don't know. I mean, that's probably that's the best way I can think of doing it. Because if I try to do like that, yeah. It's probably going to have to be this way with the tubes coming out like that, which is honestly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, all right. So now just got to mount it to the bracket, and I hope that it all fits. All right, so the cable management's getting a little bit worse. I mean, I guess it can be worse, and it's going to be worse because we're about to install the power supply. However you install it. So the instructions tell you to unscrew this shroud for the power supply and then secure this back into the case. Problem with that is I may or may not have already zip tied a bunch of cables to this shroud, and I really don't want to take it off. So this is the jank way of me doing this, by just shoving all the cables through. I'm running out of room here. Shove all of them through. And then once they're shoved through enough, we should be able to. This is terrible. Definitely should have read the manual before trying to do this, but it should go in. Currently being a little bit of a pain. Why? Oh, there we go. Oh my god, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to get it in. Okay, look at that. See, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Everyone in the comment section is probably like, oh, you don't know how to build a computer. You don't even know what you're doing. Well, guess what? I do know what I'm doing. I promise. If again, just slip the screwdriver. All right, now with the power supply in, let's see how bad the cables are now. Oh my god. Oh, this isn't gonna be pretty, is it? Oh no. Oh god. What have I gotten myself into? All right, so here's all the PSU cables. I'm gonna try my best somehow to make this look okay, because man, the wiring in this is just, it's all over the place. So I'm gonna try my best, and you know what? Let's just see what happens. All right, so it's still not pretty, but God, I hope that these cords don't end up getting stuck in these cooler fans. But it's not pretty. Whoever has to upgrade this in the future, I am so sorry. But yeah, I mean, just cover most of it up like that, right? Yeah, see, like, you can't even tell. Just don't look over here. All that's left now is to install the GPU, the big, massive 3080, and hopefully these plugs can bend well enough. Hopefully this GPU fits. It's crazy to think that, like, just a day ago, this thing was absolutely filthy, covered in dirt, covered in dust and bugs, and now look at it. Now it's a nice, clean GPU. All right, let's put it in. Oh, God. Uh-oh. Hold on, we might be able to make this work, though. Let's see. Okay, well, I think the adapter that I used is in the way. So, this board doesn't have a front USB-C header, so I was going to use this USB 2 to USB-C adapter, but the plug itself is actually, like, super loose in this adapter. Like, it doesn't even really, like, stay in there. So I think what I'm just gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to forego the USB-C, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's all right. Oh God. Oh Lord, this is such a tight fit. But I think it is gonna fit. I just have to get it back. Am I in? Oh my God, I'm in. No way it fits. Look at this. It's so close. So with it screwed in, it's gonna be like that. Oh my God. I can't believe that. That's crazy. All right, let me screw it in. I can't believe this fits. I mean, I know PC Part Picker said that it would fit. I double checked that, but seeing it actually fit in here with all these wires and stuff that got going in here, like, it is basically touching this, which thankfully is all mesh right here. So that's not a big deal. But now we got to see if I can wire this up nicely. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Give me a second. All right, I got the GPU in. The build is complete. The reason why I had to move this radiator down was because of some clearance issues between the tubes and the cables, as you can see. I'm not taking this off to show you the cable management in there because, oh my God, it's bad. You can also see the, ignore the tubes as well. Hopefully that's not a problem, but I mean, you can get maybe a little sneak peek in there. Yeah, I'm doing that on purpose. You don't get to see in there, but what I also ended up doing was, I noticed that this GPU was kind of getting pushed this way from the cables in the bracket. So what I ended up doing was I'm not sure if you can see or not. You see that gray pad right there? I ended up putting in a piece of foam right there, and it kind of is acting like a sag bracket, but it's a piece of adhesive foam right there that prevents the GPU from being pushed too far that way. This GPU is also like perfectly sandwiched in here. Like, you cannot move this GPU at all. You have to be really pulling on it or tugging on it. Like, look at this. That's really me trying to move it, and it is just not moving anywhere. So, and when I put this panel on, these will push down a little bit on it. So this GPU is not going anywhere. So the final thing that we have to do before we put the panels back on is we got to route the power cable, because obviously we're not gonna have the power cable come out here. So that's where this comes in. So because this doesn't have an on-off switch, which is definitely interesting, what we can do, we'll just plug that in, and then Corsair conveniently gives you these little tie-down straps for you to manage the wire for the power cable. So I believe that this should go through here and then out like that way, like something like that. Cool. And another thing is this motherboard, since it's a Wi-Fi motherboard. I don't think having the regular antennas, like these are the regular style antennas that I have. I have a ton of these, but I don't think these are going to work very well because this is the bottom of the computer. So the Wi-Fi antennas are going to be facing basically down to the floor if I have them set up like this, which just fell behind me. Anyways, so yeah, I mean they'd be like that, which I mean is, I guess it might be okay, but I'm gonna have to, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna source a Wi-Fi antenna that has a extra cable on it, so you could stick it anywhere on your desk or stick it on top of the computer. All right, so I'm wondering if I should just put all the panels on or if I should try and power this up without the panels on. I think I'm gonna try and power it up without the panels on first. It's gonna be a little ugly, but that's okay. All right, moment of truth. It's definitely weird having the I/O come out of the bottom of the computer. I'm not used to that. So one or two things is gonna happen. The computer's gonna work, or nothing's gonna happen. Or it's gonna blow up. So I guess 3 options. Let's go. Okay, good start, good start. Now the I/O is right here. I'm concerned that the RGB is not lighting up. I'm hopefully, oh, there we go. There we go. So we got the RGB and the fans. This design is pretty sick. I think it's gonna look awesome with the front panel on. Motherboard's got a little bit of RGB too. Are the cooler fans lighting up? Oh god, you can see my terrible cable management. Yeah, they are lighting up. Wow. Alright, so good. I'm glad it works. Let's go ahead and put all of the panels back on to hide all the cable management mess. And, well, let's see how this thing looks. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This build was definitely a fun one to do. I like challenging myself with cases like this that are not the typical layout. There's definitely some challenges, but honestly, I think I did quite alright. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And yeah, I plan on making more videos for the 2025 year, and I hope that you guys will enjoy those too. So I will see you all in the next one.